Hello and welcome. My name is Vex, and this is a Godforge video. Today, we're experiencing the alpha for the first time on stream. If you don't know, we record these videos live in front of a studio audience over at twitch.tv/vexinglive. I'm going to go over the alpha in its current state, talk about the future of Godforge as a whole, talk about the future alphas, where I'm at in the game. As of right now, as of recording, there's only a couple days left in this first wave. So I'm going to showcase where I'm at and how I'm playing the game, and yeah, we'll play some of the levels and talk about some interesting things. So, first off, it took me a while. I didn't realize that your level was the level of the cavern that you're in right now. So, if you weren't aware, the current alpha wave trio, there's going to be 3 waves. 2 waves of sort of generic gameplay and letting people get used to the game, and then a 3rd wave of competition, which we'll talk about in a bit, is basically just a way for people to test the core combat of the game and see how fun it is to sort of level up characters and strategize with teams and get through waves and bosses in the game. There's not a campaign. There's you can't wish for characters. You can't roll for characters. Nothing like that. But there are weapons. There's gear, and there's imprints and more stuff we'll go into. So the Cavern's objective is just like a tower in any other game, a tower in Raid Shadow Legends, or whatever gotcha faction tower you might see. Except you're going down into the caverns, and each stage has 3 waves. Boss stages have a boss at the end, at the 3rd stage, or the 3rd wave, and each stage has 2 challenges that you can complete to gain bonus rewards. I believe at the very, 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 very bottom, you get a bonus, or at the very least, when the 3rd competition wave comes in for the alpha, you will get a bonus to the damage of the very last boss for how many stars you have completed in the 150 stages. So each alpha wave is going to last about 10 days. Like I said, there's only a couple days left in this one. I'm currently on stage 90. I'm currently stuck because it's actually this dragon boss, Fafnir. But he's a bit tough, and I've had to stop and farm for some characters and level up some characters. It's 150 stages of wave-based content, and then the 151st stage is like an unkillable version of the boss. That's just like a damage sponge, where you try to do as much damage as you can, and there's a leaderboard on the Hell Hades website where you can track your progress against others. Funny thing about Alpha Wave 1, there is already a unintended, unkillable team. It only requires 3 characters, and there are permeations of that team. Like, it's not one specific team. There's strategies involved. It involves shielding, and it involves barrier. There's a way to grow your barrier while decreasing the ultimate bar of the boss so that he never deals enough damage to you to break your barrier. So you just scale HP infinitely. And currently, I think the record that somebody chose to sit there and keep their computer on, is 1 billion or something like that. A little, disconcerting. They, being Fateless, have made an announcement hey, this is going to be changed. He's going to hit a lot harder in Wave 2, and this type of thing is not going to be around for a Wave 3, which is the competition. So, during the competition wave in September, the person, I think it's only one person, or the top 3. Can't remember. The person who has the most damage to the boss is going to get flown out to Las Vegas and get like their winning team in like miniature form made for like 28 millimeter miniatures. It's gonna be fun. So the first two alpha waves were just getting our bearings in the game, and it's definitely been a sort of learning curve for me because I started while on vacation. I started on mobile, and the mobile experience for alpha is quite terrible. There's, it's like not optimized at all for mobile, even though it's a mobile first game. My phone, which is a relatively new phone, it was constantly, it wasn't overheating, but it was getting very hot. So it was like play for 30 minutes, shut the game down for 30 minutes. You know, if I find time later on in the day, come back. So I didn't really have very much time to farm or to spend, progressing in the cavern. And even things like checking on my heroes would slow things down. Like the more heroes I got and the more armor I got and things like that. And it's like some of the UI is very small on mobile. Like if you wanted to ascend a character, it's very difficult to like grab these bars on mobile. And even something like promoting to like a specific level is really tough. Or when you're upgrading artifacts, it's very tough. They all have those slider bars, and it's very difficult on mobile. I think the game could be interesting on mobile, but I'm not gonna when it's launched and through the other waves. As much as I can, I'm gonna be playing on PC. So let's talk about my account and where I'm at. So like I said, I'm on stage 90, which I think is like okay. There's only a couple days left. People reached level 120, I think, on the first day. There's a bunch of people who have reached the very, very bottom. I think if I paid a little bit more attention while I was climbing down the caverns, instead of like autoing while on mobile. Creative Us, welcome. I would have retained a bit more information, and that would have helped me further. I'm starting to recognize abilities that characters have, because each stage, let's go into one. Let's set a lead. Oh, let's bring, yeah, that's fine. So each wave, you know, it has characters that you can acquire. Like this is Ramses. So I know Ramses' abilities. He's one of the starter characters. I have all three of the starter characters. I know what he's capable of. These are like commons and uncommons. I forget what the Jackal does. But like, the further and further down I'm getting more used to what abilities the enemies have. Not only because like I'm acquiring more characters, but because I'm seeing them used against me more and more frequently, which is really nice. Like Shishi's pretty good. I'm really I don't know. I'm kind of rambling here, but I'm really enjoying not being on auto because I have to think, and because there's just so much going on. Like, 2 different characters have 4 different buffs, which is kind of nuts, right? There's a lot going on, even with typing. Like, am I good against this type, this affinity, or am I bad against this affinity? And it's the typical sort of turn-based stuff that you might see in Raid Shadow Legends or Honkai Star Rail, except as opposed to Honkai Star Rail, which is what I come from. Here's Quetzal, who is like one of my most wanted characters. Quetzal the Pretzel. As opposed to Honkai Star Rail, where the enemies that you fight, unless they're a boss, they're typically not a character that you can obtain. You can kind of just like learn, oh hey, we got a character. You can kind of just learn that the enemies that you fight have like 1 or 2 basic abilities and they're weak to something. and you could just go out based off of that. This game, you got to think a little bit harder because there's just so much more going on, and because this is Alpha Wave 1, this is the first time we're seeing all of these characters, and each character, from rare up, has 2 abilities, an ultimate ability, and a passive ability. And I'm not sure exactly when the passives start to creep in with the Cavern, because I'm just not that far yet. And I don't think that I've seen any of them trigger. But it's just a lot to track. So it's been a learning experience. And on top of that, there are like sort of different places that you can go to farm different things. So the cavern itself is like, I don't know, something that you got to think about while building your characters and whatnot. So I'll give you an example. So I'm kind of doing this in like the worst way possible. But when you want to ascend a character, you need a particular resource called alchemy stones. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to upgrade my Anubis. I need these special polished ones. So where do I go? Let's go find the green polished ones. Those tend to be on the 5 stages. So we've got blue polished ones. Can't do that because I need green. This is green, so I could farm 75, but it's only 3 to 5. So I could probably do better. 3 to 5 reds, so I'm going in the opposite direction. So my thought is I need to finish stage 90 to be able to get to 95 to see if 95 is a better farm area to use my energy, even though we have like a bunch of energy. Like I'm thinking ahead for the competition wave for like farming and whatnot. So like not only do you have to consider what characters you do have and where at in the caverns you are for farming. It's just there's so much going on, and I didn't want to just like blaze through it the first time through. So I'm like kind of taking my time, which has been super fun because I also get to, try out how many stages in a row can I 2-star, because sometimes the 2-star like challenge is really, really good. Let's talk about my account. I've got a pretty decent roster of characters. I've been farming a lot lately because, like I said, I was stuck on 90, and I got Gilgamesh, and I was like, okay, well, maybe he could help. I got Beowulf, and I was like, okay, maybe he can help. And then I got Hound of Duat and Pandora. So Hound of Duat has some pretty good protection, and previous to this, I had only DPS. Like I was using the 3 starters, Isolde, who is a turn meter booster, which is super great. I didn't have Tristan at the time. And Anubis, who's another damage dealer. So all 3 of the starters are damage dealers, and I had my only support was a kind of wonky version of a support, not like a traditional support. So I got Hero of Duat, Hero of Duat, yeah. I got Hound of Duat, and he brings some shielding and some intercept stuff, and he cares about Anubis, which is really fun. I think there's a bug currently. There's a 50% chance when Anubis is on team that Anubis will join in the auto attack, so you get 2 auto attacks, right? I've yet to see that happen. I think it's a bug, but whatever. So it's been really nice to have a support that could potentially carry me through level 90 and beyond. So I've been leveling him up. And I got Pandora, who's another... she's a disruptor, but she's a support character. She cares about putting on disables and stealing buffs, which is really good for Fafnir because Fafnir puts a mend on himself. So, what's better than damaging a boss than, preventing him from healing? So, I'm currently working on the team. And because of that, I've had to spend some energy farming, which is really the first place I've had to farm. So far, the cavern has just been use the things that I've acquired including gear and characters. And I've been able to get like most of my main rares all the way up to Awakening 5, which is really good. They get their bonus to stats and bonus to like passives with their abilities. A couple of epics along the way. I actually just got Horus, which is interesting. Him and Heimdall seem kind of interesting for later in the game. I'd say right now my account is not stacked. I wouldn't say I've got any of the busted characters. I don't have Aphrodite. I don't have Loki. I don't have Hercules. I don't have... I don't have Dracula. He's also super powerful. I feel like I got Anubis as my level 30 clear. So at level 30 of the Alpha Wave 1 Cavern, you get, for the first time clearing, I think it was this challenge. For the first time clearing it, you get a legendary. This says Aphrodite. I didn't get Aphrodite. I got Anubis. I think there was a bug for a little bit where people were still getting legendaries. So people got like a couple extra legendaries. But that's kind of where I'm at. My gear is like kind of okay. I've only got 2 legendary weapons. My epic weapons are kind of bad. I've got 4 of this like kind of bad weapon. My gear is also okay. Typical, you know, if you're familiar with Raid or other RPGs, it's very similar. There's like there's set bonuses. I like that they went with 6 instead of 5. Genshin actually only uses 5 gear slots, which makes making gear sets weird because they go 2 and 4 for gear sets. So there's always like a straggler, which is annoying. But it's been cool to see like what the different sets do. They're pretty basic, like initiative up, speed up, accuracy up, you know, HP up, that kind of stuff. And I currently only have 1 character with crit rate at 100%. His crit damage is awful. But that's okay. Because I got him. He's also in 3 crit sets. So plus 30% crit just from the sets. Awful, awful, awful. We'll talk about the ups and downs of the gear sets in a bit. Other things going on with the account. Gold and energy don't really matter. They've been giving us pretty steady amount of energy to be able to test. The imprints, these are the ones that I've gotten just by like 2-starring certain cavern levels. They'll just like give you a random one. Some of them are pretty good. You can extract, and this was confirmed right before the alpha, but if you say I want to extract this passive to put on a weapon, it sacrifices the character. So I pay the 5k for some reason. And I no longer have a second Shinigami. I now have a Shinigami imprint. I talked about this at length before the alpha. I can't see myself ever purposefully extracting a legendary. I think that would be crazy. But they did mention that there would be events where you could get people's imprints just by like winning the event or participating in the tournament or whatever like that. So, who knows? Maybe that's how we get the legendary ones. There's also, in the game, these are here, but you can't see them. So, when you decide if you want to awaken a character, you can use an imprint, or you can use a generic imprint. I imagine these are also going to come from events. The generic imprint will not give you a benefit to your weapon. Like I've imbued this weapon with Kate Sith. You wouldn't get that from the generic one. let's talk about some issues that I'm having with the alpha. I'm running out of gold, honestly. I have 7 mil currently because I was farming earlier today, trying to get characters ready for stage 90, which maybe by the end of this video we'll try out. We'll see how far we get. Everything in this game costs gold to do. And I watched an Adam video earlier today, and he highlighted it pretty well. I'll link it down in the description. Literally everything costs gold. It costs gold to enhance a piece of gear. That makes sense. There's no other currency. There's only gold. Sure. It costs money to upgrade a piece of gear. That makes sense. When you want to level up a weapon, it costs a specific... So not only do you need Godsteel, these rocks, to upgrade your weapon, but you also need the faction-specific Godsteel for your weapon. I went like 30, 40 stages without a leveled up weapon because I didn't have the right Godsteel. If you want to level it up, you have to get the right Godsteel stones and pay gold. If you want to imprint... Okay, you don't have to pay gold. Nice. Does it cost... It costs gold to extract. We just did that. It costs gold to extract. Obviously, it... Well, maybe not obviously. But it costs gold to level up your character. It costs gold to ascend your character. It costs gold to give your character skill tomes to increase their skills. Why is there a gold cost on everything? Is there a gold cost on awakening? Let's see. Do I have a character that I can awaken? What's happening? It does not. That's pretty good. It does not cost gold to remove items, which is super nice. They were very clear about that in the lead up to the alpha, and that's like going to be a mainstay in the game. But it's kind of like, it just feels like a tax. It's just very strange because like when you go to level up characters, you have this hero experience like resource, and then you also have a gold. Like, not only do I need to feed chickens in to level this character up, I also have to have character experience and gold. To ascend, I have to have these stones and gold. It just seems like... And Adam made a point, like, if you want these things to matter, just give us less gold. Like, don't make it more confusing. Don't have more currencies. Don't have more math going on. Just give us fewer, less gold. Because I want to spend my gold on leveling up gear. That's all I want to spend it on. Because I want to make sure that my characters get, good rolls on their substats. Like, there are so many times where, like, I don't even know if I have a character here. Yeah, sure. I was testing out some gear on Pandora, and I ran out of gold. I didn't even level up this one, which is like kind of a bad piece. to see what it was, because I ran out of gold before I started farming. It's just like it's just strange. It's just very strange. Also, pet peeve. I don't like that I can't see my currencies anywhere. Like if I want to see how many skill pages I have to go into the skill page. Sure. I want to see how many of these various rocks that I have without having to come into a character. Like I can't see how many blue ones I have. How do I know which I need to farm? Do I know how many red ones I have? No, gotta come into the Ascension here. Oh, I don't have enough red ones. Do I have any blue ones? You get it. It's like... It's strange. Most of the systems for leveling up have their own currency and consequences. So like when you upgrade a character, the consequence of getting rid of, other characters to star up, plus the currency. It doesn't need like a tertiary currency. So Nan brings up a point, 2 reasons to make it harder for players to easily judge value and to maintain control over player progress. So the control over player progress makes sense, especially when you consider, well, if we're extrapolating Alpha 1 to launch and skipping Alpha 2 and 3, where things are, subject to change, obviously. If they keep the system and they go live with it, this current gold system, there's likely going to be gold packs that you buy. As of right now, we have no confirmation as if there's going to be a stage where you can farm gold. You do get a decent amount of gold in the caverns just by playing and getting 2 stars. Most of the time, like the big gold dumps come from getting 2 stars and stuff. Let's see if I can find one. Maybe the ones with gold are always like the easy ones I get. Here we go. 400k for 2 starring, like, sure. When normally you might get like 20 or 50k per run. It's a nice little boost as you're progressing. But when you're stuck, you need to farm, and there's no gold stage to farm. So it's a bit rough. So hopefully during Wave 2, we'll get a update to some of these systems. I'm also hoping that we get kind of like a UI update. I know there's going to be a simpler way on launch to easily promote. As of right now, it's kind of tedious. Like if I want to let's make a 4-star food. Okay, we're going to grab Shield Maiden. I'm going to slide the slider up to 4, which I can't really do on mobile easily. I have the necessary primary and secondary currencies. We have to hit this tab, put in a soul, hit this tab, put in some souls, hit this tab, put in some souls. There's so much clicking, right? And finally, I have 1 4-star food. And if I want to upgrade a 4-star character to 5, I need 4. It's also like there's no easy way in the alpha right now to get rid of characters. You just have to feed them to other characters, as well as gear. As far as I've been able to see, there's no way to sell multiple pieces of gear. You have to like literally go piece by piece, hit the sell button, and when you do, it brings you back up to the top of the screen, which is like god awful. While we're here, let's talk about the gearing a little bit. The sets are interesting. We've talked about the sets. I want to see. There was a breakdown in the pinned comments. Here we go. So, none of the main pieces of body gear, the 6 pieces of gear, have main stats that are static. As you can see, I've got a helm that has initiative, a helm that has defense, a helm that has attack, a helm that has accuracy, a helm that has resistance, a helm that has crit rate. It could be all flat stats for helms. For shoulders, same story. Defense percent. Crit damage, HP. I'm pretty sure it's HP percent. Yeah, HP percent. There could be attack percent. Chest, same thing. Keeps going. What they've done differently than literally every other game in the genre is all of the pieces do not have a flat, static main stat, which means more farming, more variables, more time in-game, where you're just searching for like that 2% better piece. Like you might have a kit. Let's say Guan Yu for now. Like, sure, he's at 100% crit rate, right? But I want all of his pieces to be different because they're kind of bad. And like this one's okay because it's got crit percent is the main stat. I want him to be at 100% crit rate, but I want better stats, right? So I'm going to farm each piece of different sets until I get a complete build that's better. But then there's always going to be better. And then they're going to introduce new sets to the game. There's always going to be better and better and better. It's a way for you to spend your energy in an endless cycle of obtaining a new piece of gear that you can finally use that's better, that maybe got one crappy roll, and then getting a new one. And then, oh, back to the grind, back to the grind. Genshin was egregious for this. People are still farming pieces that are just like a percentage better than their current build. And in that game, there's only 5 slots. And I think 2 of them or 3 of them have a static HP or defense or attack primary stats. So you're only looking at substats. Add on to that, there's not only is there different rarities, there's also different qualities. There's damage, there's crude, superior, that all care about your substats and how they grow. The amount of build variance is quite literally infinite. But it is a bigger infinite than Raid Shadow Legends. It's like infinity times 2, which is crazy. This doesn't need to be a thing. Like, yeah, we're in the same genre, but we're trying to make things different and unique to Godforge. I think that already with the gold problems, we don't need all 6 slots to have random main stats. Maybe they could be tightened up so there's only like a couple per. In Zenless, 1 slot might have 10 different potential main stats, but another slot only has 1 main stat. I think it's a huge miss. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm just like, during this 10-day alpha wave, I'm never going to get like a build that I'm satisfied with because of the variance and because currently in the caverns, there are boss stages where you can get, let's see, I think 70 has it. The boss stage has armor of all slots, but only a few sets, where you might get stages up until then that are for specific armor slots. So like this is legs. There's going to be another one somewhere for boots. Sure. And it just keeps going and it keeps repeating, but with different sets. So you can like target farm boots, which I guess is okay. That's how they filled out the cavern. But like, it's so much farming. And going into this year, like the year of Alpha and the year of Godforge, we were definitely on the hype train of like, we're not going to have to spend as much time in game as we do in Raid. Like, yeah, there's going to be things for us to do and the game's going to be fun and we're going to want to play the game. But these are the same people are complaining about having to spend too much time fighting Hydra in Raid. Or fighting Chimera and begging Polarium for, faster ways to get out of the game. Like, it's just, it's a pet peeve, and I think it's super unnecessary for the gear to be structured the way it is. I hope that some of these can just go to, HP is your helmet. Your shoulders are defense, something static, so there's a little bit less pressure on gearing. I wanted to make sure I talked about that because when I first saw that, I was quite literally dumbfounded. Like, the variance of those plus the variance of quality of gear is crazy, actually crazy. And there's no gold farming stage. Okay, before we end the video on our next attempt at level 90 Fafnir, I want to give a little bit of a forward progress update. There's Alpha Wave 2 coming in, I think, at the end of August. There's going to be a break in between Alpha 1 and 2 so they can fix some stuff, listen to feedback, fix bugs. There's tons of bugs. Like, there's Gilgamesh and Heimdall just don't work together, which I was really sad about when I got Heimdall. I was like, oh, he looks badass. But I was leveling Gilgamesh at the time, and I was like, oh, I can't use him. So they're going to fix this stuff. Alpha Wave 2 is going to happen. It's going to be much like this. Alpha Wave 1 will, stream it. We'll play some games. We'll make some videos. Give some updates. But the competition wave, Wave 3, is going to happen in September. That's going to be pedal to the metal. We're trying to win. So I'll definitely do some like, oh, hey, here's some updates. Here's what the game looks like. We're a little bit closer to launch. Here's what the caverns look like, how they differ from the previous waves. I'll do videos like that. But I'm not gonna focus too hard on like the basics of this type of game. There's plenty of other content creators doing that kind of stuff for the alpha. I'm focused on the game. I'm focused on trying to glean what I can and be a good alpha tester and have some fun while we do it. Once the game releases, however, there will be some character guides and like boss guides and stuff like that. I used to do some of that stuff for World of Warcraft. It's super fun. And yeah, so if you want to see that kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe. Sounds like a project to start writing guides when the game is finally finished. Yeah. It's also like Lady Zoc didn't work this way until Alpha was launched. She used to have a speed up, but now she makes the targets bleed. So like Alpha Wave to Alpha Wave to Alpha Wave, things are going to change. And it's just about big picture stuff. How are we pushing in the dungeon? Where are we farming? Where are we allocating energy? Things like that. Pandora, lordy. Okay, here we are. We're going to end the video by attempting a Fafnir run. I think this is the first time I'm going to try Pandora against him. We'll see where we're at. I definitely want Guan Yu for the enemy max HP. And I want Hero of Duat. I want the Hero of Duat to be the hero of the battle and keep us alive. And I'm just counting on these two damage dealers, which might be okay. I'm definitely not going to beat the boss with fewer than 40 turns for the 2-star, though. I'm going to have to out-level it to really get going. Okay, we got a bunch of characters with AoEs, so we can clear out some of this stuff. Keep Pandora's stuff. There's also like a strange thing about Godforge. If you see the cooldown is different than what you might expect. It's logical, but it might be different from what you're used to. If you press the button, you then have to wait 3 turns for this ability. 3 turns, and then on the 4th turn, you can use it. In some games like Raid, it's on the 3rd turn you can use it, which is just, a slight variance. Isolde's been pretty... Why did I do that? Kind of just wasted it all. I forgot he has 100% crit now. That's okay. This wave can be kind of nuts if you don't like actively kill them all. Shamash is pretty good, and Beowulf is very good. I have a Brawler, and he's really good against Brawlers. Does extra damage towards Brawlers. How many more times can I say that word? Leonidas. And we're going to be able to, not mend, but drain, heal all of this back as long as we don't die here. I have no revive, by the way. Counterattack is kind of tough. Counterattack for 3 turns on a character that's super tanky. It's really rough. What the? He died to a dot. Alright, boss time. I also wish that the boss cinematic didn't happen every time you fought the boss. Because when you're farming, it loses so much time. Okay, let's spam a couple ults here. I need to get Drain on him so Guan Yu does more damage. I should have Guan Yu's ability. 2 turns. Oof. Never mind. Maybe my Isolde will die. Oh, she got healed. Never mind. She didn't die. She literally took 0 damage and she healed. Sure. Definitely intended. Yeah, even with 100% crit, his low crit damage is just awful. Maybe I prioritize a little bit more crit damage and fewer crit rate for now. Get him into a real set. Okay, here, we can add Drain, which is immediately going to come off 1. We got Drain 3. Turn meter boost here. Probably not going to push anybody. So we're going to start healing. He hasn't ulted yet, so he's not going to get Mend. A1's the steal, right? Yeah. I don't want to steal buffs yet. I want to be able to steal his men so he doesn't heal. But since he has Drain now, we're healing, but also Guan Yu is going to deal a massive chunk of damage. Boom. I feel like Beowulf would be particularly good here. 2 of his abilities are based on enemy max HP. And he does bonus damage to bosses. But I don't really know if I want to use the resources to level him up. Also, my Hero of Duat has a weapon that steals ultimate, which is part of the infinite team. So the boss may never ultimate, or might only ultimate once, which is really good because I need him to not heal as often as I can. He's a little Deathwingy. He does look like Deathwing. Especially like the chest plate stuff here. That's a good point. Maybe that's why I like him so much. Neltharion. The Earth Warder. Okay, doesn't have Drain on him, so we can apply Drain. I made sure Guan Yu has enough accuracy to land Drain most of the time. That way we can keep full HP. Isolde doesn't really do much damage, so it's taking her a lot longer to heal up. This is kind of how it goes. You progress through the dungeon, or the cavern, until you hit a wall. Level up some characters, level up some gear and some weapons. Readjust your strategy, and keep going. He still hasn't ulted yet. And Guan Yu is definitely the MVP of damage here. Anubis is still doing okay, but with the enemy max HP, it's just, you kind of can't compete. It's like Nut from Raid Shadow Legends. I just slept the boss? Is it sleep? What is that? Oh, you can't use info. Okay. The more you know. Except I can't use info, so I don't get to know. So I'm not going to use his core ability because he still had 1 stack of drain. Okay, he's going to ult here. Oh, never mind. I just stole. I didn't realize I was fast enough. He might get his ult here. It's going to be close. Ah, he just got it and used it. Dang. Okay, he didn't get mend. That's intercept. He still has drain 3. So we'll just chug away. And now that he's used his ultimate, he's tired and he's laying down. Like a good doggo. He has counterattack on now. That's pretty rough. I want to... Except he's not using it. Great. Love that. Maybe because he's sleepy. Turn meter boost might not do anything. Right now, you should be able to ultimate against multiple enemies in between their turns to interrupt their turns, like in Star Rail, and sort of chain together ultimates, but neither of which you can do. You have to sort of manually wait for ultimates to happen. And then you have to wait until it's your turn or a character you control's turn to be able to use anybody's ultimate, which kind of stinks. Oh, now he's counterattacking. Still has drain. How have I done such little... Oh, he does have mend. How has she not stolen that yet? Oh, it's only 30%. Oof. Taunt. Okay. He's about to heal again. Okay, no more mend. Nice. And no more counterattack. God, this fight's taking so long. Still has drain. Go on you. MVP. Oh, he stood up. Nope. Laying down. Come on, he's right there. I can't. I have to put drain back on. Maybe if my Anubis was 100% crit rate, it would be a little bit better. Oh, you kidding me? Pandora gets a kill? Easy. Let's see the damage report. Ooh, okay, Green Knight. I don't have the Green Knight. I'm pretty sure. Passive reflects 30% of damage inflicted to this hero back to the enemy. That's crazy. What? Ultimate. Attack one enemy for a bunch. Inflict 50% of the damage dealt to enemies under taunt. Inflicts 50% of damage dealt to enemies under taunt. This attack is always a normal hit and ignores target's defense. So maybe if you taunt other people, you hit one target that's not taunted, it sort of spreads the damage. Steals all buffs from an enemy, then replaces it with a taunt. Can't be blocked or removed. Also places retaliate. I think that's a counterattack. Attack an enemy 3 times before attacking has a 75% chance to place drain 1. Oh, that's pretty sick. That's a good combo with Guan Yu. And like a decent... Is he a brawler? Yeah, he's a brawler. Like a survival DPS kind of. Stealing buffs. And it just has a... It just says steal buffs. That's crazy. I leveled up Pandora because she says 30% chance to steal. Hey! Aphrodite! Aphrodite! Busted! I didn't realize you could get 2 characters from one stage. Allies gain 2% turn meter when inflicting damage to an enemy. This is doubled up for people who are under speed and initiative. Attacks all enemies, then extends the duration of any speed up and initiative up. In it. By 1 turn. Also increases turn meter and divinity by 20%. This effect is doubled. Sure. Target 1 ally, place both of those for 2 turns, then gain an extra turn, so then you could extend, attack 1 enemy. Allies under these will join the attack. So you use that, gain an extra turn, do that, ally attack. Dang. So she's one of the infinite team characters. She's kind of nuts. She just extends buffs like crazy. And you do a lot of ally attacks, which means a lot of damage. Nice. Let's see. 1.9 mil damage on Guan Yu. My Hound of Duat did more damage than Anubis. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, that's going to do it for me. GG's. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. If you sat through all that dragon killing. This is going to be a long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will stick around for more Godforge adventures. I think I'll do another like update at the end of Alpha 2 and sorry, at the end of Alpha 1. Just to see where we're at and what was fixed, and talk about the sort of experience as a whole. And yeah, if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to be a part of the discussions while we talk about this stuff, check us out live. My link will be in the description down below. I hope everybody has a good night, and thank you for watching. Bye!